Hey there, welcome to my podcast. I'm your host Roz, owner of Roz Chandler Fitness, and I'm so glad you're here. This is the podcast where I chat to local inspiring women, share insights and have real conversations. Whether you're tuning in for the first time or you've been with us from the beginning, get comfortable, grab your favourite drink and let's dive in. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode of the podcast. So here we are again, another podcast episode, and I'm very delighted to welcome Jo along. Welcome, Jo.
Hi, thanks for having me.
You're more than welcome. So let's just start by telling the listeners what it is you do, Jo.
Well, I do many things. I am a makeup and skincare consultant, which is my current main business focus. Is something I'm really passionate about. And I've kind of arrived there through my other hat, which is I'm a beauty therapist. And I think it's the kind of work where there are so many different avenues you can go down. And I've kind of landed after having my children in a world of social selling of skincare and makeup, being able to advise women on their makeup and skincare. And I also lead a ladies networking group in my
Yes.
which is having that.
Exactly, which is amazing. I love that. Really love that.
Really
Carry
good.
on.
And I do a lot with like volunteer work with the school and things like that. So I'm quite a busy mum, but I also like to put my passion into my business.
Yeah. And how long have you been doing your business?
So my makeup consultancy is coming up 7 years
Wow.
in June. And I've been a beauty therapist. I'd like to say I qualified when I left school and it's been 10 years, but it's been more like 20 now. So a long time. It's all I've ever done. Yeah.
And you obviously love it.
I do.
And have a passion for it.
I do.
Do you find that sometimes your passion and your love for it can take over sometimes in your life? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Especially when buying. I think I said to you earlier, I've got so much makeup. It's ridiculous. Yeah. So I do find I'll see something like a shiny new trend and I'm like, oh, I need to learn this. And it doesn't.
Yeah.
How it is.
But it's the same with me with my fitness business. If I see other people doing fitness things, I'm like, oh, I should be doing that. It's very difficult sometimes, isn't it, to pull yourself away?
Yes.
Is there, like, obviously you've been in it quite a while. Is there anything that you've sort of done recently that's sort of highlighted your career, given you sort of a reward for what you've been doing? Have you?
Yeah, I feel like my because my company I work with is in the direct sales sector, I find that because there's a lot of recognition through there, I found that not only are they recognizing me, I've been really monitoring my own progress.
Yeah.
And one of my newest like business ideas has been to take last year's month and try and improve by 10% the following year. So that was what I started this January, and I've done it both months now.
Well done.
Which is really great.
Yeah.
So I'm really chuffed with that. And I think sometimes actually finding those markers makes such a big difference to your business, and finding a way to measure your improvement and your growth really does make a big difference to your outcomes and your results.
Yeah, brilliant. And did you go to a conference recently? Did I see that you?
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah.
Manchester was in January, and we normally have quite a big conference, but because the company's recently changed ownership, we're now owned by L'Occitane Group. When all the change was going over, there wasn't time to organise our annual big palooza, which is normally a Ford. So we didn't get to go on holiday.
Oh.
But we got to go to Manchester.
Yeah.
And actually, what a great place. I need to go back there exploring. But we had a lovely dinner and we celebrated the year. It's actually our kind of annual January awards thing they do. And it's not only the Beauty Guides progress they monitor, they actually reveal our top sellers and things like that. So we were celebrating the products. It was really nice. It was really nice. And it was an opportunity for the Manchester public to come and meet the products as well.
Okay.
It's quite a baby company, so it's really good to get the name out with events and things.
Yeah.
So it was good fun. I was glued to a makeup counter all day doing looks on unsuspecting passerby. Yeah, it was really good.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. It's good. When I used to do Rose Conley back in the day, we used to have a conference every year. And even though I've done my own thing now, I do miss that. Being with other people who are doing what you're doing. It's a really good thing that they're still doing that for you. That's fantastic. So what advice would you give to anyone who's sort of thinking about going into your sort of career? Is there anything you've learned over the years?
I would say if you're wanting to go and be a self-employed person retailing any product, love your product and love what you're doing. If you're going into beauty, find products that work well for you, because then you don't have to sell them.
Yeah.
Because I find for example, if my company launch a new product, I will always try it. And if I don't love it, I won't sell it to anyone. Because I think that sometimes, I think that's the difference between selling and recommending. I only recommend things that I know work.
Mm-hmm.
So I think finding that product that is something you can really get passionate about, something you can live without yourself.
Yes.
That's when you're going to make a really, really healthy business.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. And I must just point out, obviously, you've very kindly done my makeup. I'll just show that to the camera. I've had a full makeover, a Jo makeover this morning with the Lime Life products. And I have to say, I did a before and after, didn't I? And you can definitely tell the difference. And it's just your expertise just shone through. Definitely. I've had makeovers over the years, but I have to say, you could tell that you were passionate about the products and that you love doing what you're doing. And that's amazing that you found something that you can put your heart and soul into, isn't it?
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah. I think for me, it's that I really get my kick off the result you get. So when somebody goes, oh, can I try the foundation? They put it on, they go, wow, it feels so light. I look so alive. And I think because it's called foundation, so you expect it to be like a cover up. But I think it just becomes your skin. And I think that it's really hard to find a product that does that. Yeah. So I know that when people put it on, they're going to go, oh, and that's what I love. Yeah. Is the result.
That's fantastic. Yeah. Well, I know you mentioned earlier that you have lots of hats and you do lots of different things, the networking, mm-hmm. and obviously you're involved in your school, aren't you? Do you have like lists everywhere? I mean, how are you organised?
I don't ever have a Christmas or a birthday where someone doesn't buy me a list pad. And actually often they run out by the next year because I'm a February baby. So come Christmas and February, I always get my new notebooks. I use them up. No, I do. I find when I'm juggling, I can get overwhelmed. And actually my husband's a big support for me and he does help me a lot. And I do find sometimes I'm like, right, I need to write it down, prioritize, and just figure out what needs doing first. But, you can have a day where you've prioritized something really important and then you've got a child home from school sick.
Yes.
I mean, luckily I have retired parents. They help. But generally, it's a case of juggling. And if I drop one ball, sometimes they all come down. But it's being able to forgive yourself. Yes. And also being able to know when you need to ask for help is a big one that I've learned. Definitely. Yeah. I think when you try and do it all on your own, when you're leading a lot of projects, you need to have a good support network who are there and you can call them in and say, look, this has happened, or just accepting things. For example, I love to bake. I do. And this week was the cake sale at school and I had time to make cakes for him to take it. Last time I was like, I really want to bake, but I didn't have time. So I phoned my mum and said, can he bake with you? Yeah. So he did it with my mum instead. Yeah. But if it came down to it, I would just buy some. There's always somewhere else you can go and something you can sort of pivot on to make your life work. Yeah. And I think that sometimes it's learning to let go of things. I don't feel guilty if I don't bake because I've got other things going on and it's fine. So I think it's knowing when to go, I can't do that, so I'll do this instead, or I'll get Janet to do that. And
sounds like you've got it. Yeah, because it can be very overwhelming, can't it? And you've got your family, you've got your work, and and to actually say, sometimes I don't know about you, but sometimes you can be a little bit like, I don't need help. But actually you do need help and support.
Yeah. And I think as women as well, we feel like we've got something to prove, in a sense of we're expected to have children, make dinner, get a job, houses need 2 incomes now. We're expected all these things. Are we? Do we expect that of ourselves? Does society expect it of us? But it's actually dropping your expectation of yourself and learning how to pivot your life to get things done.
I think that's really good, really good. So obviously you mentioned they're baking. So is that what you say you do? Is you if you ever get any downtime, Jo?
I used to bake a lot more than I do now. But I always make time to bake my kids a birthday cake because I do enjoy doing it. And I have made some pretty cool Mario cakes and things in the past. It's when they say, can you do me this character from Fortnite? I'm not that skilled, no. But I can do like little bits. I enjoy doing that. And I've got a few recipe books that I know the cakes are really nice. And if I'm going to an event, I actually think cooking overall is probably one of my vices. I'd quite happily stand in the kitchen and cook 8 meals, knowing I'm batch cooking and it's going to make my week easier.
Yeah.
But also knowing that I'm just there with a podcast or some sort of audiobook and I'm just in my zone, cooking, relaxing. And I do find it like a productive, relaxing task.
So that is your sort of downtime. You have to have it, don't you? Let's face it. Oh, so looking back, is there anything you would tell your younger self? I've been asking some of my guests this question. It's always interesting to see. Is there anything you'd tell your younger self?
Oh, do you know, one of the main ones is probably to be healthier from a younger age. Because I think now when I look back and I think if I could take away all those takeaways I had and all those extra chocolate bars I ate, I'd just be like, probably in better habits now. But other than healthier choices as a younger person, I would say that, hindsight's a lovely thing. And when you're like, one of them, I said this to my husband the other day, if I'd have known how strong we'd be, we would have had children a lot younger because we moved in together at 21.
Right.
But I didn't have my first until I was 27. And I feel like if I'd have just bit the bullet and done it younger, I could have progressed so much further already in my career, which is my 4th child, technically, But I feel like I would mainly say, don't worry, you've got this, would be the main thing. Yeah. Because I think you worry every day that it's going to go wrong or that something might suddenly change and then it's not going to work anymore. Or you always have worries. But I think actually things happen for a reason and you can always pivot and you can always make things right. And I think I'm a lot wiser now than I was when I started. I'd like that wisdom to be from the beginning.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. But, I think you've just sounds like you've got a lot of things going on and you've got it sort of, from my point of view.
I'm glad it appears that way.
So just going on like a fun and personal thing, are there any sort of, when you say you listen to podcasts or audiobooks, is there anything that you're listening to at the moment that you would recommend?
So my audiobook at the moment isn't a work-related one. I'm a bit of a nerd deep down and I like kind of like fantasy stories. So me and my husband watched the entire season of Game of Thrones.
Yes.
On. And I'm not particularly focused enough to be able to read a story like that. So I'm on the 4th book. They're like 40 hours long each. So it does consume me a bit, but we really get into it.
Yeah.
And I'm really enjoying that. And I think for me, I would struggle to zone out and sit and read that story because it's quite in depth. There's a lot of character.
Yeah.
So for me, audiobooks are great. But I listen to a lot of things like Jim Rohn and Tony Robbins. I find them really helpful. And I also, through podcasts, I've been listening to one that's recorded, I can't remember her name now. Lisa Johnson.
Okay.
That's the one. She does education on how to turn your business rather than being on one-to-one, one-to-many. And I find that one really good. I think there's an audiobook as well that I've listened to. It's kind of, you've got the podcast and the audiobook is in depth of what's in the podcast. I find her really helpful. Personally, for me, I'll listen to any advice and I think you could listen to the same book 6 times and take something different every time.
Absolutely.
So audiobooks are definitely a thing I enjoy.
Brilliant. And with your networking, I mean, I've not managed to get to as many as I'd like because lots of stuff goes on in my life too. But I feel like we've got a really lovely group of ladies there, haven't we? So if there's anybody who'd like to join, who's got their own business, who's got to join, would like to join it, are they still?
Yeah, we're always open. We're always open for new members. We meet at the Chippenham Golf Club every third Tuesday of the month at 10 for a 10:15 start. We structure the meetings where we have, each month we have a spotlight speaker who will share either their background story or a bit about their business. Last month, we had a lady called Gabriella who shared with us gua sha facials, which I got to do the model, and it's large. And so we had like a live demo. It's really good. It's really good. And then there's time afterwards where we all introduce ourselves and what we do. And then we spend some time mingling and exchanging business. And I think a lot of the women there, I recommend them to other people all the time because I'm forever having someone say to me, for example, I need to print this. I've got a friend who does print. I want to do a fitness class. I know someone, and it's really good for that. And it's more of a referral process. And I know networking for me has been a massive part of building my business. I go to several groups and I find the support from other women is just really great. Yeah. It's been really good for me.
Yeah, definitely. I'd recommend it too. And the group is called
Chippenham Angels.
Chippenham Angels.
Yeah.
I love it. I always feel very,
we're the angels.
We are the angels. Charlie's Angels are the Chippenham Angels.
Chippenham, yeah. Love
it. So just some quick fire questions I've been asking all of my guests. Just very quick. Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Morning person or night owl?
Night owl.
Oh. And favourite travel destination? Manchester?
Anywhere warm. Anywhere warm. I'm there. Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Because, snow's also beautiful.
Yeah.
Anywhere away.
Away from Chippenham.
Yeah.
Oh, it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you and have my makeover. I feel I've had a really lovely morning. Thank you very much, Jo. If people wanted to find your makeup and your business, where would they go to find it?
So
find your details?
I'm on Facebook. My group is called Jo Coleman, the makeup consultant, and I'm on Instagram. Is it a handle?
I think it's a handle.
Jo Coleman BG. And yeah, that's pretty much it at the moment.
Yeah.
I have got a lot of QR codes and things on my paperwork, but I can share with Roz my links if you're
brilliant
with this, and then you can find me. But
fantastic. Well, thank you again, Jo. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I wish you all the success.
Oh,
hopefully I'll catch up with you soon. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you for joining us. I really hope you enjoyed the episode. Look out for our next episode where I will be chatting to Angela, who is a menopause specialist and life coach at greenpathcoaching.com. See you soon. And as I always say, deep breath in and you're done.